Open Surfboat. There are 6 boats and there's a long row of about 500 metres. Firstly, to the right of your screen or on your screen is Bungan Beach, the defending title holders. They won the last 2 years. Into lane 2. That's Cronulla. In lane 3 is Torquay in the green. Then Point Leo in the red or orange. Manly in the blue. And the big challengers further down in lane 6, North Cronulla, New South Wales champions. This is one of the great events of any surf carnival, and particularly the national championships. They're in the hands of the starters. It's going to be a long, hard row out and back. And it's interesting to note the bathers there. They might make you laugh, but they're very important reason. It makes them go up and down the runners a lot quicker. And Paul Smith, they're very, very important, and for the start, particularly the sweeps, they have to have everything right. And this will be a tremendous contest.
Well, yes, that's correct, because the sweeper is expected to use all of his strength to give the boat that final push, jump in without upsetting the balance of the boat, so the rowers are able to take their first stroke and get into a good, easy-going rhythm.
Don't be confused by the Whale Beach on the right. That's the one with the Bungan crew. They've borrowed the boat from Whale Beach, so don't be confused.
Pulling the boats backwards now.
I'll start it again. You want to go through the lineup again if you like. Yes, why not? You got your mic on close to your mouth. Defending title holders in the Gadsden Open Surfboat is Bungan Beach. They've won the last 2 years and they'll throw out a tremendous challenge to make it 3 in a row. In lane 2 is Cronulla, a very experienced crew with the black caps. Then moving to Torquay in the green, they're lane 3. Point Leo in the red and orange caps. Then to Manly in the sky blue, their familiar colours, and also North Cronulla in the final lane, and they are the New South Wales state champions, and no doubt Mick Porra, they'll throw out a great challenge to Bungan.
The state series on Thursday, and they've won nearly everything all year, and I think they're going to be the crew to beat for Bungan. You might notice that the Bungan Beach crew on the far right of the arena are using the Whale Beach boat, and the reason for that is because a few months ago their club was in financial difficulty, and they actually sold their brand new boat to help the club out of trouble, so they've had to borrow one. So they're up against it, but they're going to be hard to beat.
Well, yes, they certainly are going to be hard to beat. Ross Jorgensen, sweeping the Bungan crew, is just a master boatman. He's won about 5 or 6 Australian surfboat titles, coached many, many crews to great victories, and there's no doubt in my mind that the North Cronulla crew are very strong and very fit, and they're very capably swept by Steve Swain. But Jorgensen is always able to pull out that extra little trick in the final of an Australian title. It'll be interesting to see whether he can do it once more.
So when you watch the race, it's going to be the crews on the far right and the far left who will probably be the strong challengers.
Yes, indeed.
And off they go on the Gadsden Open Surfboat.
Yes, and Ross Jorgensen jumped into his boat beautifully, as did Steve Swain from North Cronulla. And you see the crews in number 1 lane and number 6 lane. They're the ones starting to push.
And actually it's the Torquay crew in the middle and the 3rd position are doing exceptionally well as well at the moment. You can see them out there in front at this stage, and it's a great start for them.
Yes, and now North Cronulla down in lane number 6, they're paddling well, but Torquay here in the white boat, they have a rower in there. Steve Newnham used to row under Ross Jorgensen back in the Warriewood days, and Steve and Peter Grant, the sweep of the Torquay crew, have no doubt done a lot. But looking across there, Manly starting to try and make a move. North Cronulla down the bottom in great shape. Point Leo's dropped back a little bit, but Bungan Beach now, they're starting to come up a little bit. Ross Jorgensen easing the crew along very nicely, but Torquay's still just slightly in front.
And the New South Wales boaties consider this as their event. In 63 years the event has been held. They've only lost it 4 times, so they'd expect to win another championship.
That's right, and I was actually with the North Cronulla boat guys last night, and they are so determined to win this race. They've been runners-up twice, and they were really, really psyched last night, and they're about dead level right now with the Bungan crew and also the Torquay crew in the middle.
Yes, well, Torquay putting on a good pace here, and Bungan Beach going with them. Bungan have some very old members of their crew. I shouldn't say that, but they're well in their 40s and considered to be past the age of some competition as tough as this. But they're really showing it. And Jorgensen, a master at surfboat rowing. Look at him urging his crew on here in the foreground. I'd say that Bungan has now just slightly moved into the lead. North Cronulla over on the far side, also going stroke for stroke with them, and Torquay just starting to drop back a little.
And it's a long boat race, this one. It's worthy mentioning that when these guys turn the cans, they've then got to turn and come back into the wind. And now that's a different situation they're up against week by week. Normally they turn the cans and they're the runs and the chops are behind them with the wind. This time they'll turn and they'll come head on into the wind, and it's the crews that have controlled themselves the best, not build up too much lactic acid, and actually played more of a cautious sort of a row that will do the best.
And this is where the role of the sweep comes in on the turn, Paul. Very, very important.
Yes, and North Cronulla turned first. North Cronulla put on a great sprint there. Jorgensen getting his crew round quickly, as is Peter Grant from Torquay, and they're turned and heading for home now. But North Cronulla, they'll have their hearts in their mouth now. They'll start to lift their rating a little bit. Jorgensen's got his boys out of the crew, and Bungan Beach starting to come home. Now this is an exact replica of last year's race, where Bungan came home in the last 50 metres. But it's North Cronulla still leading slightly from Bungan, Torquay in third, and the Manly Light Blue Club back in fourth position. Now it'll be interesting to see whether Jorgensen can lift his crew again in the last stages of the race.
It's going to be very, very close to the finish, but I think the North Cronulla crew are having that lead at the turn. They're stronger and fitter than they've ever been before, and you can see the lead there. They've pulled out to about a length in front, and they're doing very well, and these guys would be putting everything into it. They want this so badly, and the North Cronulla crew are doing exceptionally well, Paul.
Yes, they are. Indeed, it was a great tussle between these two last year, and also for selection in state teams and Australian teams this year. Jorgensen now starting to push his crew strongly, and Bungan Beach starting to move up on North Cronulla. North Cronulla going again. It's certainly going to be between 1 and 6. I think we can disregard the rest of them. But look at North Cronulla there now, paddling extremely well, lifting those blades into the water, and Jorgensen's crew coming at them again from the Trigg Island end of the beach.
And as you say, Paul, this year when they were selecting the Australian surf team, there was nothing in it on last year's results, and they actually had run-offs all year to see who were the best beach sprinters and all-rounders within the crews, and so there's no run-offs between this crew. The Bungan crew were selected to represent Australia, and the North Cronulla crew are determined to prove that they are the best crew in the country.
Still very, very flat conditions, so it's a long, hard row back. They've had a lot of racing over the last few days, but what a tremendous finish to the Gadsden Open Surfboat.
Yes, and I think North Cronulla are coming home a little bit fresher. North Cronulla looking great. They're really leaning into those big oars of theirs. Bungan trying valiantly in second place, but North Cronulla now would have half a boat length. Peter Grant's Torquay crew move back into third position, and Grant's calling for an effort there. So is Jorgensen. But look at North Cronulla come on home now. North Cronulla in the boat, May Nicholas boat they won. They're going to win the Gadsden surfboat race unless Ross Jorgensen can put a motor in the boat. Bungan coming strongly. Look at Bungan on this little swell here. North Cronulla on the other end. This is going to be a magnificent finish to the Gadsden boat race, and North Cronulla coming down this slight little wave. North Cronulla will come. North Cronulla, they're going to push it. Jorgensen up this end, but North Cronulla have won their very first ever Gadsden Open Surfboat Race Championship of Australia. It would be the Bungan Beach crew swept by Ross Jorgensen in second place, and Torquay will come into third.
And the North Cronulla crew, Steve Swain the sweep, Brad Miles, Michael Smith and John Laird, Matt Donnelly, New South Wales champions in 1987, also the national title holders.
Yes, interesting to note that it's the very first